This is a video going over, this is a review of polynomials. It is specifically 3.3b. And so let's look at number 5. So this is the case where you're building a polynomial given some information. And I'm giving you, in this case, zeros and a point. So let's find part A. So the first thing that you're going to start with is, okay, I notice I have zeros and I want the, and I'm asking for a polynomial having only real coefficients. So we know that, which is the case for all polynomials, by the way. I have two irrational roots, 1 plus root 2 and 1 minus root 2, and then I have 1 minus I. But if it's going to be a polynomial, then 1 plus I also has to be a root. So the least degree here is going to be degree 4. So then when I go about building my polynomial, I say f of x equals a, because I'm going to have to find that leading coefficient, x minus 1 plus root 2. It's always x minus a root, right, by the factor theorem. X minus 1 minus root 2. Then we have x minus 1 plus I and x minus 1 minus I. And so when I FOIL this out to expanded form, I'm going to FOIL out the two irrational, the two factors that have the irrational roots together, and then I'm going to do the two that have the imaginary roots together. All right, so we've got A, and I do the extra step of keeping the 1 plus root 2 together. So the middle terms will be x. So I've got x squared minus, I've got this 1 plus root 2 x, and then I've got this minus 1 minus root 2 x, and then the two middle terms multiplied together. Well, if I multiply 1 plus root 2 times 1 minus root 2, I'm going to get 1 minus 2. So I'm going to write that. So plus 1 minus 2. So that's the first grouping. And then for the imaginary, I'm going to get x squared minus 1 plus ix minus 1 minus ix. And then multiplying the negative quantity 1 plus I times the negative quantity 1 minus I, I'm going to get plus 1 minus I squared. And I'll deal with the I squared next line. All right, so this is A. I'm going to get x squared, distributing the negative and the x. I'll get minus x minus root 2x, then minus x plus root 2x, minus 1. This is going to be times x squared minus x minus ix minus x plus ix, and negative I squared is negative 1, so negative I squared will be positive 1, so it's going to be plus 2. All right, let's clean this up. So we've got a x squared, nicely, this goes away, and also this minus ix and plus ix goes away. So the roots and the i's should be eliminated. So x squared minus 2x minus 1. And then we've got the x squared minus 2x plus 2. Perfect. All right, so now I still have this a out front. Again, I'll deal with that shortly. Now let's FOIL this out and just find a systematic way to do that. I think I'll take each term in the first parentheses and multiply it by every term in the second. And then go and do that for then the second term in the first and multiply by everything in the second. And then finally the negative 1 from the first and multiply it by everything in the second. So here's what I get. I've got x to the 4th minus 2x cubed plus 2x squared minus 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 4x minus x squared plus 2x minus 2. All right, so we've got a times, we've only got 1x to the 4th. Let's combine the x cubed. It looks like I have minus 4x cubed. Then the x squareds, I have plus 2 plus 4 minus 1, so it's going to be plus 5x squared. And then the x's are minus 4 plus 2, so minus 2x. And then the constant is just minus 2. All right, and the last step is, so this is f of x, is using this point. I know f of 0 gives me, so I'm just going to put it below here. I know f of 0, when I plug in 0 for x, I get an output of 4. So I've got a. 0 for x means the only thing left inside the parentheses will be negative 2 equals 4. So negative 2a is 4, or a is negative 2. So the final function will be multiplying that negative 2, that leading coefficient, my a value, by each term. So negative 2x to the 4th plus 8x cubed minus 10x squared plus 4x plus 4. And that is your polynomial. All right, so I'm not going to you're going to approach B the right way. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but let's just set up how you would start. So zeros, you got a 0 of negative 3 of multiplicity 2. So I'm going to put your A always first. So x plus 3 squared, multiplicity 2. And then a 0 of 2 plus I, which means you're also going to have a 0 of 2 minus I. So you would write x minus 2 plus I and x minus 2 minus I. And the first thing I would do, like we did in the previous problem, is FOIL out x plus 3 times x plus 3, and then FOIL out x minus 2 plus I and x minus the quantity 2 minus I, and then approach it the exact same way. Okay.